What's the difference between a synthetic human, a digital replica, and a deepfake? You're not alone if you're confused. Let's clear it up. Hi, I'm Duncan, Crabtree-Ireland, SAG-AFTRA National Executive Director and Chief Negotiator, and welcome to Take 5. Joining me today is SAG-AFTRA General Counsel Jeff Bennett to help make sense of it all. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Duncan. Happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here too. Let's just start out with the basics because there is so much confusion out there. What exactly is a digital replica and how is it different than a synthetic human versus a deepfake?
Starting with a deepfake, although it has a lot of different definitions out there in the world today, deepfake is actually the term used to describe the technical process of putting someone's face onto another person's body. A deepfake could be a replica or a synthetic human. Either one, it encompasses both of those things. A digital replica is a digital asset which creates the impression that the asset is a natural performer that uses the voice or likeness of an identifiable performer. So a digital replica is a clone of you or me or somebody known. A synthetic human is a digitally created asset that is engaged in a performance, audio or audiovisual, but is not tied to any recognizable or known natural human performer. So a synthetic is truly a fake.
Cool. And deepfakes have that kind of negative connotation for some people. Is that really part of it, or can that be a neutral term?
It's actually a neutral term. It has taken on a negative connotation. People use deepfakes to describe what they see as fakes, but you could actually have an authorized deepfake. A digital replica could be authorized by the person who's being replicated, and they could use deepfake technology to do it, and it would be authorized and perfectly okay.
Well, maybe if more of them are like that, that term's connotation will change a little bit. Can I just say that we've seen amazing, incredible gains on the legislative front over the last year or 2 years. Can you talk a little bit about what specific actions have been taken on the public policy level to regulate? Let's start with digital replica use specifically.
Sure. In digital replicas, in the last 2 years specifically, we have focused on two things: putting guardrails around licensing digital replicas for use. And we took language directly from some of our contracts to say, in law, if you're going to license your replica, your voice or likeness, to perform in ways you could have performed, there has to be a specific description of use prior to your being okay with that use. And if you do not have that specific description, then you had to have been represented by a lawyer or a union. Otherwise, that contract is void.
That's so powerful. Like, there's not a lot of other scenarios I can think of where that type of protection's been built into the law.
It was novel. I think it's going to prove to be very, very important as the years go on and people start using more and more of this technology. We've also spent a lot of time strengthening traditional laws that govern name, image, voice, and likeness to make sure that consent is required for digital replica uses in expressive works. I say that because most of those laws dealt with commercial purposes, so selling something. In this case, you now have to get consent, living or deceased, if you want to use somebody's digital replica in films, TVs, video games, sound recordings, etc. That is a huge gain for us, and it will hopefully be very protective for our members.
Yeah, that's so important, like expanding on that. I think for anybody who's been deepfaked outside of a commercial context, they know it's just as important in a lot of ways. So I'm really glad to hear that. Now, how does that legal work connect with what we're doing at the bargaining table as it relates, again, to digital replicas?
So great question. And sometimes we start with a law to sort of build the foundation there and add on to that with collective bargaining. In this case, when it came to digital replicas and guardrails around licensing, we actually took language that we negotiated in our TV theatrical contract. We brought that to the law because we need to make sure that all performers, not just union-covered performers, are protected. We can't let practices get established out there in the world that are going to serve to detriment all performers, whether they're union, non-union, or in many cases non-union but about to be union. We don't want anything out there that might diminish people's rights. So we thought it was important to make sure that those guardrails were in place for everybody. For synthetic uses, which we just started legislating, we think it's incredibly important to make sure that we incentivize human performance. And so we look to put in things like transparency requirements, disclaimer requirements. If people are going to use synthetic humans, true fakes, people should know that that's who they're interacting with. And we want that to be in the law because we want to continue to encourage human performance.
Oh my God, that's so true. And, and wherever we can, we want to bargain for, economic level playing fields, I think, also around synthetic. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through all of this. Technology here is moving so fast, and it's really important for our members to know that SAG-AFTRA has been leading the way, pushing for strong AI legislation and building real guardrails to protect performers in every forum where we can. So for more information about digital replicas, synthetic humans, and your contract rights, visit sagaftra.org. And if you found this helpful, give us a like and a subscribe to our YouTube channel for more Take 5 episodes. Until next time.